Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, I am Allie, and today's video is going to be me talking to you guys about something that I've been wanting to talk about, and I've been a little apprehensive about just being so openly honest about this and talking about something that I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for, and that scares me, but I've decided that I'm going to talk about it here. I am going to talk about a company that I've recently decided to stop supporting. Well, actually, they're kind of two companies that go together, but they're under the same branch. So for a very long time, and I still own items from these two companies associated with this brand. I guess I kind of had like a naive notion that we're just going to dive right into it. So I'm no longer supporting all brands, which is Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body, and I believe like a kids clothing store, but I don't have a girl, so I don't know. I think it was like Justice. I don't even know if Justice is still around. If you're a girl mom, let me know. I'm not a girl mom, so I don't even know if it still exists. So I decided that I'm no longer going to support this brand after watching the Angels and Demons documentary on Hulu. I guess I kind of had like a naive notion that because Victoria's Secret and because Aerie are the only two brands like that are out there, that I thought were out there, were the reasons I had to purchase them, because they were readily available to me. I didn't realize, so I'm not going to talk about Aerie for a minute because I don't really know much about, American Eagle to really, go into this, and this video is not about them. This video is about Victoria's Secret. I didn't realize what was going on behind the scenes. I always struggled with Victoria's Secret, especially after having my son. I know that I look like I don't gain weight or whatever, but I have, I've gained weight, especially since having my son and turning 30. And I've always struggled with kind of how I look. That's always been an issue for me, especially in my early teens. And I kind of never really wanted to support Victoria's Secret, but I was like, oh, they're the only ones here. And then Aerie came out, and I kind of moved between Aerie and, Victoria's Secret. Part of the reason why I've always kind of liked Aerie is because body positivity and more inclusivity. I can't speak to save my life right now. And that was kind of the reason why I was like, okay, Aerie, great. But then, so back to Victoria's Secret. So then, I felt like Aerie's bras were falling apart faster than Victoria's Secret, so I went back to Victoria's Secret reluctantly. I really didn't want to go back to Victoria's Secret, but I wanted to be where it was readily available to me. Because I've tried ordering bras online, and, things didn't fit me, and then bralettes I can't stand. They don't support enough. I like the t-shirt bra. So I had struggled back and forth with Victoria's Secret. So then, the CEO made the comments that he made, and they had come public. But again, I guess it was my naivety brain was well, they're all that. I didn't see this. I didn't even know the comments were made till I watched the documentary. I don't know if I was living under a rock at that point, or if it was around the time of one of my dad's deployments, because I know that when there was a deployment, we really didn't watch the news, just because, if anyone else is a military family, you understand. Sometimes the news makes you crazy, and you have to not watch it. That was the situation with me and my family. We couldn't watch the news till an overextended amount of time. We could watch local news, and that's what we chose to watch, but other than that, we couldn't watch any of these CNN, Fox News, because it was just sometimes it was a rabbit hole and you couldn't get yourself out of it. And that was kind of our situation. So I'm not entirely sure if that was the case or if it was like because of like the I don't remember when it was like out. So it wasn't until, for me, kind of like the tipping point and kind of like the I want to know more information, and I was really, really excited that this documentary came out, was the fact that he did business with Jeffrey Epstein. The moment I found out that he did business with Jeffrey Epstein, I kind of did a switch in my brain. I was like, I need to know more of the extent of what he did with Jeffrey. Like what, but like for a long time, like there wasn't much information about Jeffrey Epstein's involvement with Leslie Waxner. There was just the bare minimum of information, and it was very, very hard to find. And then of course it felt like at that time, and then of course, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, so it was kind of like a moment of like, okay, so now all the information dies with him kind of thing. And it wasn't until recently that I've kind of been down this documentary rabbit hole. I watched The Secrets of Playboy, which we can do a whole nother like video on that if you guys want. And then we did, and then I was watching the Jeffrey Epstein's Filthy Dirty Rich one on Netflix, I believe it's called. And then, I've been down this documentary rabbit hole since the Jeffrey Epstein case. I've kind of always liked documentaries, but like I've really just been like really in this documentary rabbit hole. I've watched so much stuff that has been really, really eye-opening in regards to things. Like learning certain things about Hugh Hefner that weren't known. I was never really like into Playboy or into the girls next door. I just recently, I like read Holly's book, and then like that's kind of like the extent of like my Playboy experience, and I kind of like fell in love with Holly from reading her book. Like that was the extent of that. So back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent. So I was like, okay, I need to know more about this situation with Jeffrey Epstein, because I've been really, especially since turning 30, really into this whole like voting with my dollar thing. And I'm like, if you are not actively like acknowledging your situation, then we need to have conversations about the situation. Like, no, like we cannot scroll past the fact that you are friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And as a conservative Republican, I'm going to throw this out there before anyone comes for me. I said the same thing about Trump. I said the same thing about Bill Clinton. I said the same thing about Prince Andrew. We're not going to scroll past the fact that you were friends with Epstein and that you claim to know nothing. We're not going to pretend that you don't know anything. I don't care who you are. You cannot be friends and you cannot be doing business dealings. There's just no way you didn't know. I'm sorry. How would you not know? Like, how could you not know? It's kind of like my thinking with these things. And I know that I have to have a little sensitivity here and be like, maybe there's a small chance that he did not know. But I'm like, not trying to be funny. But like, again, how do you not know? Like, I just don't understand how you do not know. So then the documentary came out and I was like, okay, I need to watch this. So summer school, we don't have school Friday. So the last weekend that I didn't have my son was the first time I've been able to watch anything that's not kid related in like a month, because we're potty training and I'm trying to get this kid to use the potty, and I'm being super, super proactive about it, and I'm coming along great. And pray for me, because patience. I started watching it and I could not believe the things that were going on behind the scenes. Like, the amount of males commenting on females' bodies are truly amazing. And I've said this from day one. Like, I don't understand what makes you think as a male it's okay to say what's coming out of your mouth, good or bad. Sometimes I'm just like, could you not? So the first episode like kind of talks about like everything, like the growth of him, how he became this millionaire in Ohio kind of situation. Okay, we're just going to break it down that way. Then the second thing that they start to talk about is like the fashion shows and what they were about and yada, yada, yada. I don't really understand modeling, so I'm not going to even try to dive into that part of it. Just kind of learning that they had struggles with being inclusive and all those things. And like the part that I'm honing in on is the part for me that doesn't sit well with me. And I also want to preface this by saying that not being size inclusive and being misogynistic towards women and being sexually harassing is not okay with me at all. And that was going on behind the scenes, and that was stuff that like was never talked about. And I don't know if it's because of like the Me Too movement that things have changed, but that was a big thing. So kind of the two things for me that were in the documentary that made me realize that I did not want any part of this was actually learning that Third Love CEO came from Victoria's Secret was really, really big for me and eye-opening, and they'll probably be the next place I do business with when it comes to bras, because they have the style that I like and that I've been looking for, which we'll talk about that at the end. The second thing was their open letter. I did not realize that they wrote an open letter to, oh my gosh, what is his name? Ed, I believe, who was the second in command of Victoria's Secret, when he had made comments in an interview about being body inclusive and yada, yada, yada. And they were really like, whoo, they're in the documentary. Their comments I will not be repeating. Was really, really eye-opening, because it was like, I always forget that Victoria's Secret is owned by two males. And males that are very from a different era. There, go with that. And they have a very different view of women. And the fact that one of the CEOs, or whatever you want to call him, or one of the guys in charge of marketing, I believe, felt he could say these words out loud was truly, truly amazing to me. It's made me realize that like some men are not where like thought process and brains are nowhere near the same as other males. And I'm talking just in general. So that was like tipping point number 1. Tipping point number 2 was all of the stuff that I learned about him and Jeffrey Epstein. So the fact that he had power of attorney over your company, the fact that he was spending millions of your dollars buying you all kinds of property, the fact that he was living on the same property as you, and then this is the kicker. The fact that your wife, who joined the company, was making comments about sticking Jeffrey on people to get what she wants. Okay, lady, I would like need to have a conversation with you. What the heck? Learning that his wife, well, that's kind of the third thing. So learning the amount of control Jeffrey was involved in, and knowing that he used Victoria's Secret as like a way to get young women does not sit well with me. I can't support that. Knowing that that man used this to lure young women for modeling and to get them what they want. Like, I can't. And then this is kind of where my other frustration with Leslie Waxner lies. Okay? I am so sick of his statements. I didn't know what he was doing. That man apparently knew you better than anybody and was aware of so much in regards to you. So you mean to tell me that he was involved in your money, he was involved in your marriage, he was involved in your personal life, but you didn't know what he was doing? I'm sorry, I find that hard to believe. The amount of stuff that just comes out about Jeffrey Epstein and Leslie Wexner's relationship in that documentary just tells you everything you need to know. Truthfully, go watch it, because honestly, if this documentary was not made, I'm not saying that I would still buy from Victoria's Secret because that ship sailed, but the amount of information is just sickening. And the fact that he will not answer any questions in regards to this Jeffrey Epstein thing is amazing. And it's amazing to me the amount of work he went into after the Palm Springs incident to make it look like he had no connection with him. Come on. Really? You really think that we don't know? Like, you really think we're stupid? Like, this is where I'm getting at. Do these rich and political people really think we're stupid at this point? Like, do they really think we're dumb and we're just going to believe whatever they put in front of us? Because honestly, I'm starting to think that they all think that. All of the rich and powerful people think that we're idiots. I'm truly starting to believe that. The more and more stuff that comes out about people and things is amazing. So kind of like, and to pivot off that, the other thing, so basically there's 4 things now. The other thing that set me off in this documentary is the fact that Sydney McCain, they show a clip of her that the media did not talk about, said that everybody knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and did nothing. Makes me wonder, on both sides of the aisle, as a conservative, how many more were in bed with Jeffrey Epstein? I said it. So that was kind of the other tipping point for me. And the 4th tipping point was his wife. His wife, his wife, his wife. The amount of things that came out in regards to her, that she's having lunch with Hugh Hefner's wife, which sent me down a tailspin of secrets of Playboy, whole thing, which will be a whole nother conversation. And the fact that she just seems complicit in everything and she hasn't said anything just makes me wonder, like, what was going on with her and her husband. And their relationship was weird to begin with. In the documentary, they talk about that, but it's just, like, amazing to me that the documentary was truly eye-opening, and I do not want to purchase from Victoria's Secret because of it. I was already done with Victoria's Secret, but this was just, like, the tipping of the literal iceberg for me. So that brings me to the second brand. So as you know, L Brands owns Bath & Body and Justice. I don't have a little girl, so Justice is not an issue. I am no longer supporting Bath & Body. I have a little bit to use up, and that will be the end of it. I wanted to make a video just because I wanted to kind of put it out there why I am not supporting this brand and why and what led me down the rabbit hole of that. And I hope that those of you that are going to continue to support this, I hope there's no negative comments. If there's any negative comments and fighting in my comments, I will delete. This is my first video making this kind of thing, and I will retract it so fast. I don't do well, not for hate. I will retract. I'm open to dialogue and I'm open to us having this conversation, but I'm really truly learning what brands I want to vote with my dollar. So that is why this is the first video in my voting for my dollar series. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Please give a big thumbs up if you do. If you please hit that subscribe button. I will see you all next time.